have her glasses. She was gonna come back in and never did.
Boy, just incredible shock and sorrow after an 18-year-old died in a car crash in Randolph County. Her best friends are remembering her tonight.
A community refuses to lose hope in the search for Heddie Dawkins. How volunteers and officers rally for a missing 81-year-old.
And a race legend gearing up to return to the track. How Dale Earnhardt Jr. is helping revive the North Wilkesboro Speedway.
But first, we begin with a line of storms sweeping across the Triad, the system with the potential to douse the Triad with downpours and hammer it with gusty winds.
Tim, we've been seeing this line of storms pushing across our area all day today.
Yeah, it's just started within the last couple of hours, and it's very different from a pop-up storm afternoon. It's not like that. We know where the line is, where it's going, and we can tell you when it's coming to your area. So let's get to it. Right now, it's just been pushing through those foothill communities. So North Wilkesboro, Mount Airy, Surrey, and Wilkes County, you're kind of in the clear now as this is pushing by your area. Winston-Salem, you can plan on this over the next 30 minutes, but right now it's kind of moving through Yadkin County. We have some downpours there, a little bit less lightning at this time compared to about 20 minutes ago. So if anything, they're holding intensity or even weakening just a little bit. This is the situation up in King, right there along Highway 52. Very heavy downpours, some lightning, and if we take a 3D slice of the storm, I know it looks impressive, but it's only about 20,000 feet tall. That's usually not enough to create a strong or severe storm, but even so, gusty winds and downpours and some lightning can be expected. Stokes County has been through it. Our weather spotter Dwayne Young tells me he's had 2 inches of rain already, and it's still going on. This is moving across toward Eden, Stoneville, and parts of Rockingham County. The rain rate has been impressive, 2 to 3 inches an hour, and your arrival times look like this. Winston-Salem around 5:30, Greensboro around 6:15. Here's Futurecast. It's just going to sweep across the Triad. So by 7 and 8 o'clock, it's in Alamance County, and then after that, it's winding down. This is all part of a cold front. Yes, take a look. 60s in the mountains right now, still near 90 in the Triad. We have cooler, less humid air on the way. We'll talk more about what that means for tomorrow coming up.
Tim, thanks. Our weather team is your best resource when there is a chance for severe weather. See their forecasts and the live radar on the free News 2 app.
The search for Heddie Dawkins enters day 7. The 81-year-old with dementia went missing last Wednesday.
Police say they are working every possible lead, and volunteers searching for her say they refuse to lose hope. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake is live in High Point tonight, where she heard from some of the people who aren't giving up.
At least 100 people showed up in High Point earlier today, some who don't even know Heddie Dawkins or her family, but tell me they just wanted to come out here and assist in the search. A group actually just took off from this spot moments ago in order to keep that search going. Family members.
Everyone says today is the day.
Family friends.
I'll stay out here all day as I have to.
And complete strangers.
I came out because of the love that we have for people.
Joined forces with High Point Police.
So let's get it done today.
In the search for Heddie Dawkins.
I knew her when she was a counselor way back then with High Point City Schools. When I saw her face, I was like, I recognize that lady, I know her. And I think the more eyes that are looking, the better.
A diverse group of people gathered at Kingdom Hall, all with different reasons as to why they wanted to help.
I lost a student of my own. And he was aggressively looked for.
The search brings back emotions for Julie Kempsey, a retired principal. She once helped search for a former student.
It brings back the loss. He was a special needs little boy, so much younger than Miss Heddie, but along the same lines of an impairment.
Dawkins's family overwhelmed with the outpouring of love and assistance.
The community is great. They're great.
Checking backyards. Knocking on doors. Community members left no area untouched in the search.
We're going to Cole Avenue.
From young to old, even those with illnesses themselves joined in on the search.
Because of my health issue. But you know, I said to God be the glory. Because it could be me.
Some even leaving gift bags around the area filled with food and water just in case Heddie Dawkins stumbles upon one.
High Point police say that they've searched within a 3-mile radius thoroughly since last Wednesday. Police Chief Travis Stroud said he's still hopeful and he believes that Dawkins is in this area and alive.
Amber, thank you. For a week now, everyone has been wondering what happened to Miss Dawkins. It all started when she left her home overnight last Wednesday. She was later seen on a Ring doorbell camera and appeared injured. First responders deployed large search teams using all of their equipment, like drones and ATVs. Police scaled back their search efforts last Friday. They say they will keep working any leads that emerge.
Friends and neighbors react after a deadly crash in Randolph County. State Highway Patrol says a teen passenger died and 3 others went to the hospital with serious injuries. The driver, an 18-year-old, crossed the center line and hit another car on Finch Farm Road last night. WFMY News 2's Hunter Funk joins us live from the crash site where friends are remembering the young lady who died.
Yeah, this is the area where the crash came to a halting stop. A neighbor who lives just down the road from here and her son heard the crash and came running out to help the two 18-year-olds. She said she did everything she could, but it wasn't enough to save 18-year-old Sydney Langston's life. She died at the scene.
I'll pray a lot. And it doesn't matter how long I've been in nursing. You know, I've seen death, but it never gets easier. And I feel for the parents.
Sydney Langston and Emily McAllister were in the car together last night. They both worked at 66 Grill and Tap House in Thomasville. Ireland McCallahan worked there too. She says she talked with Emily McAllister's mom, who says she's alert and has a few broken ribs and was going into surgery. McCallahan says she's still in shock about the news.
I'm glad Emily's recovering and that she made it out of it, you know, in the good way. But, you know, Sydney, just hearing about how fast something can happen, yeah, it was just very shocking for me.
Charles Lee Butler was best friends with Sydney Langston. She says Langston graduated from Wheatmore High School last year and wanted to become a dental hygienist. She says losing her best friend doesn't feel real.
But she was one that was a true friend, and she was always there for me. I kept her by my side. And usually when I'm bored or I want to hang out, I'd call her. But now when you look at I see her name on my phone, or if I go to Snapchat or call her, she's never going to pick up or text back. So it's going to be really hard.
Highway Patrol says charges are still pending for Emily McAllister. There were also 2 others involved in the crash, a 57-year-old and a 14-year-old child with serious.
Hunter, thank you. She was just saying that that child has serious injuries. State Highway Patrol says neither 18-year-old was wearing a seatbelt. There have been quite a few deaths lately involving victims not wearing seatbelts. 3 people in the Triad just last month. State troopers say they've investigated about 250 deadly crashes in the first half of the year across the state. Half of those involved were not wearing seatbelts.
We have new details in a deadly DWI crash investigation. A Davidson County judge reduced the bond for Amber Whitaker from $500,000 to $75,000. Lexington police say Whitaker crashed into the back of an NCDOT truck back in June. An 8-year-old child died and a 3-year-old went to the hospital. The Davidson County DA says the defense attorney filed the motion based on time spent in custody. He says the judge reduced the bond based on her record and the charges she faces. He also says a bond's purpose is to ensure a defendant shows up in court.
New at 5, Lexington police say one of its officers caused a car crash this morning. Police say an officer saw a driver speeding on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard going the other way. As he turned to pursue the car, investigators say he cut off a concrete truck. The truck collided with the cruiser. The officer has minor injuries. The other driver is fine. Police are now investigating the crash.
You have one more opportunity to share your input on the City of Greensboro's search for a new police chief. The city will host a virtual meeting tomorrow evening between 4:30 and 6. Officials will ask people questions about their priorities during the search and what they want out of the new police chief. Former Chief Brian James left the department several months ago. Teresa Biffle currently serves as the city's interim police chief.
Winston-Salem Police Chief Katrina Thompson will also retire. She leaves office in December. The city says it'll work with a search firm to hire a replacement. It's not clear how long that could take.
The state health department is holding a virtual town hall on monkeypox. Leaders will share more on what to look out for when it comes to the virus, as well as where to find vaccines and treatment. Right now, the CDC reports 288 monkeypox cases in North Carolina. Tonight's town hall starts at 6:30. A big point of concern among health officials, limited monkeypox vaccine supply. The White House's monkeypox coordinator says the government now has enough doses to protect the entire at-risk population with 2 doses. That's about 1.7 million people. The CDC signed off on a 5-shot series a few weeks ago to account for the supply. Health officials have confirmed nearly 17,000 cases of the virus nationwide, and the most of any country in the world. The White House says it won't stop working to boost supply.
We have seen some movement, and we're trying to meet that moment, as we have talked about. That funding that you're talking about that is connected to the COVID and the CR, that's something that we're going to continue to work with Congress on to make sure that we have the funding needed to do the work on monkeypox.
Several Triad agencies are handing out the vaccine. Call them to see if you qualify.
Jr. is getting back behind the wheel. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will race at North Wilkesboro Speedway tomorrow night. It's his first stock car race in more than 20 years. Returning to racing to the track has been underway for quite some time. You'll remember it closed back in 2011. Then last year, the state approved $18 million for renovations. Earnhardt has a history here, and he says he wanted to be part of the efforts to bring it back.
When you come out here and visit the track over the last 2 decades, it was like it was speaking to you. Like, hey man, I got something left. I can be something, right? I can be of value to the motorsports industry, and I think we're seeing that come true today. That this track has a purpose. It can be a big asset to this community. It's happening later in the qualifying.
He will drive the Sundrop number 3 car. It is a tribute to the car he drove at the Speedway nearly 30 years ago.
The Carolina Classic Fair begins a month from today, and the city of Winston-Salem wanted to give you another way to get tickets. Today, fair officials opened a merchandise store in Haynes Mall where people can also buy tickets. The fair partnered with the Winston-Salem Thunderbirds and Winston-Salem Dash to include their apparel too. City officials say it's important the community comes together for big events like the fair.
Yeah, the fair is truly a community event, so we want to reach out to those other partners in the community that entertain families, and we try to do that on a regular basis with the Dash and the Thunderbirds and other sporting events that go on throughout the year.
You can also find Carolina Classic Fair tickets on its website. We have more information about the fair on our website, WFNYnews2.com.
The government has provided a lot of relief over the past couple of years trying to help people get through the pandemic, and scammers have tried to capitalize.
A closer look at the efforts to steal your money and how you can protect yourself. That's next.